Hi friends, it's Heather, and here are some of the goodies from my design team package that I received from Esmeralda at Pro 31 Designs that I'm going to use in my project here, which is a Christmas Victorian hanging. You'll see I had some of the crystal chandelier drops, a flower I made with some of the trim, and a pearl. I got some green leaves, some little crystal flowers, beaded trim, and some satin trim. Here you'll see the glue that I used besides my glue gun and glue. I used this art glitter glue, and I used Martha Stewart glitters in green, red, white, blue, and yellow. And I also used some jewelry wire in gold, my Tim Holtz Ranger foam applicator, and some vintage photo distress ink. Here is a postcard I created as a digital collage using Gecko Galz images, Graphic Fairy images, and some other online freebie images, as well as the program GIMP in order to create the background with the writing on it. I just simply used two of the same image and I just flipped one over and I added some pop dots to it, and you'll see that I have the ones at the bottom not quite at the bottom. They're raised up enough so that whenever you want to add your bead trim, it'll easily fit in there. Okay, so first I took the one image that I had the pop dots on, and I used my glue gun to adhere some glue at the top where I could attach my really cute little flower beaded trim that I got from Esmeralda at Pro 31 Designs in my design team kit, as well as the drop bead trim at the bottom. The glue gun and that type of glue works really good for this. In the last photo, I used some editing so that you could see the pop dot, so that wasn't the actual color. This is more the color of what the actual project looks like in real life. And this is what it looks like when you flip it back over. You can see the drop bead trim at the bottom and the pretty pearl flower beaded trim at the top. Next, I used my glue gun to apply some hot glue to the back of two pieces of the ribbon, and then I adhered them to my postcard, one at the top and one at the bottom. And I do have them slightly off the postcard so that when I do the back side, you'll be able to hear the two pieces together and it'll make like a nice solid piece. And here is a view from the other side, so you can see how that looks, how the trim just barely hangs over a little at the top and at the bottom. And again, this is not what the actual project looks like. It's just the way the camera and the flash works. I wanted you to be able to see the pop dots, but you know, not everything's perfect. Next, I went ahead and I added the other postcard on top. And then I decided to add a piece of wire that I had played around with a little bit. So if you wanted to add the wire first, it might be easier for you to do that now, which you'll see those steps a little bit later in this tutorial. But I always kind of come up with things after the fact, so you'll just see me in a couple minutes stick the wire in here. But this is how it looks on the opposite side before I add the other trim to the top and the bottom. Okay, here I adhered some hot glue with my hot glue gun to the back of the ribbon, and I placed it at the top of the back side of the card. Here you'll see I've attached the bottom piece of trim, which I also applied hot glue to. I also have my pieces of trim just a little bit longer than what my actual postcard image is. That way when I'm all done I can snip them and make them a little bit, you know, make them line up a little bit better and be perfect. Here is a long piece of jewelry wire which I have laced two of the chandelier drops from my design team package from Esmeralda at Pro 31 Designs onto, and I like to keep my pieces long until I'm finished with them, because I'm going to be sticking it through some little pieces of paper and, you know, little different areas, and I want to curl up my ends to give it a nice curly Q effect. So I started at the center bead area at the bottom of my hanging, and I just poked the wire up through there and then pulled one piece of the wire out on the left hand side of the postcard and one to the right hand side of the postcard. And you just kind of work your way around those little pop dots that you have in there. And that's why I was thinking that for someone else doing this, it would probably be easier to put your piece in and then adhere your next postcard so you can see kind of what you're doing. But since I never know what I'm going to do until after I get started, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Here I decided to take some of the really pretty little flower pearl trim and add to both the left and the right hand side of my postcards, vertically, just to add a little bit more depth to my project. And then my wires will come out from the inside and curl around the front. Here is a close-up of the tiny flower beaded trim and the wire coming out the sides of my postcard. Here I took one of the green leaves that Esmeralda gave me and the ribbon flower that I created with the pearl center, and I used my hot glue gun and some glue to adhere it to the top of my postcard. I also started to bend my wire on the left hand side over the front of my postcard. Here's a close-up of the flower I created using the ribbon, and that is in another tutorial I have. I believe the one I did right before this one with my Christmas envelope. And there's the green leaf and one of the little crystal flowers that I'm going to have on both sides with my curly cued jewelry wire. And here is a close-up of the crystal flower on the left top card. And again, I removed the little crystals, clear crystal that was in the center of the flower so that I can apply some stickles. Next, I got out my skewer, that you can just get at like any grocery store in the kind of like in the barbecue department. And I just get the cheap wood ones. It's like maybe $2-3 for a big bag of them. And I simply just wrapped my wire, leftover wire, around this to give it a curly Q effect. This is another picture of the same thing. You can also see the wire sticking up off the other crystal in the back, which I will be curling up next. Here is an overall view after I had the flower and all the trims adhered, and I have my extra wire curly cued. And here is a close-up of the curly cues and the card itself. Next, I took my art glitter glue with the fine tip applicator and I applied glue to the green areas on my postcard and on my leaf so that I could add some glitter. Here's an up close. You can see the glue on my leaf there, and it is also on the postcard where the hollies are and on the image of the little boy and the girl in the sled with the holly. I used Martha Stewart glitters in a green, and I just kind of dumped it on the areas that I had of the glue, and then I just flip it over on a little piece of paper that I have folded so I can easily put it back into my container. And here is a photo of the green glitter. Since it is a still photo, you don't get the real pretty glittery effect, but it's on there and it looks beautiful. I used my art glitter glue, the fine tip applicator, and I added some little dots on top of the holly berries, and then I added some red glitter by Martha Stewart. And again, I will do the same thing where I will just shake it off and onto a piece of paper that I have folded in half so I can easily stick it back into my container. And I also like to start with my darker colors of glitter first and work my way to lighter colors. You can see the red glitter holly berries on like kind of toward the center upper right, and you can also see where I have added some blue glitter onto the ribbon that surrounded this little cute vintage boy and girl image. Next I went ahead and I got out my little bottle of copper stickles and I put a little dollop in the center of each of the flowers, the crystal flowers that I used. And here is an up close of one of those flowers. You can see the little curly Q really well, and you can also see some of the glitter that is on my postcard. And once my postcard dries a little more, if you give it a little tap, the excess glitter will come off. And here you can see the left hand side where I applied quite a bit of glitter and the stickles to the little crystal flower. I really love how this turned out, and it looks really nice on the Christmas tree because all the glitter catches the lights from the Christmas tree and makes it look all pretty and sparkly. What you can do when you're done with the one side is then you just flip your postcard over and do the same thing with the other side. I just didn't add a second flower or leaf, but you could do that if you wanted to, and that would be fabulous. You can see it looks very pretty on my tree, and I am very happy with this project. And here is a photo I took using like the nightscape filter on my camera. Well, it's actually just a little button, I don't know, but it gives a nice soft glow effect to the lights on your tree, and you can see the pretty chandelier drops. And all my other goodies that I got from Esmeralda at Pro 31 Designs to make this a beautiful creation, and of course my Gecko Galz images and images from the graphic fairy. Makes for a great vintage, beautiful Christmas tree ornament. Here's another photo of my finished project, and I hope it inspires you to create a beautiful Christmas ornament of your own to keep for yourself or to give away as a gift to your friends. I hope you have a great day, and please subscribe to my YouTube if you're interested in learning some other fun things. Thanks. Bye.